Welcome, welcome to Freaked Out with your psychic medium host, Liz. Today we are finally getting the opportunity to do the DeeDee Blanchard channeling session, which I have been super nervous to do, but I'll explain that here in a moment. Today's episode is basically going to be just about DeeDee, and she wanted to go more of the letter style to Gypsy and Aurora, so that's what we're going to give her today. She also gave me a couple of little pieces of information that I thought would be interesting as well, so we'll share that with you as well today. And in case you're wondering who DeeDee Blanchard is, well, that is Gypsy Rose's mother. And if you're not familiar with the story, highly recommend checking out Gypsy Rose Part 1 and Part 2. We just dropped those over the last couple of weeks if you want to go take a watch. And Gypsy had ultimately did a murder for hire, if you will, with her boyfriend, who ended up killing her mother. Now, we've done a lot of channeling on the Gypsy Rose stuff, but we haven't done a lot of the DeeDee Blanchard channeling. I've always had her in the background there if I needed a little piece of information, but I really didn't want to use her. I did a soft channeling session before Gypsy Rose had actually gotten out of jail to kind of prepare her. Not that I thought Gypsy would see it, but I don't know. I hoped that she would see it. And I made those videos for her, and a lot of people were not happy that I made that. But I felt like it was a nice message. It wasn't anything bad. She had lots of time to sit in jail and have no experiences at all, so I felt like this would have been a great thing for her. But I also wanted to do that one channeling session with DeeDee and just leave it there. And there's reasons for that. Myself personally, I am going through what I would call an awakening. We all get them. It happens throughout your channeling journey. I've been going through an awakening where spirits that linger, I should say, not all spirits, not my one-on-one video calls, spirits that I am in contact with constantly. They will try to take over my body. Yes, in that ghost, Patrick Swayze, Whoopi Goldberg kind of way. And it's really uncomfortable. I feel like I don't have control over my body, mostly my words. They don't normally take over my body and make me do things like a puppet. It's more so my words. So they will take hold of my mouth or my fingers. It takes me a minute to realize what's happened, but initially I think it's me having a meltdown of some sorts for no reason with other people's. But it's the spirits, and I usually have my guard up most of the time, but sometimes when I'm in my own moment where I'm like angry or pissed off or sad or down, all of those types of emotions, which doesn't happen very often, they will take advantage and use me as a vessel, and I'm not liking that. So that is another reason that I've been very hesitant with certain spirits, especially people like DeeDee Blanchard. And if I'm totally honest, I am utterly scared of that woman. I also have mom trauma, and I understand where Gypsy's come from because I've not anything crazy like that. I'm fighting my own demons in a sense. But I'm not going to let that stop me from channeling certain spirits. It makes me a little hesitant. And DeeDee, we'll see. I'll get into it because there's a couple of things that her and I don't agree on, but we're going to share everything. And it turned out to be okay. I wasn't as worried or scared as I thought I was going to be. So thankfully, we managed to get here, and let's get into it. Oh, but before we do, I did want to mention that Eileen Warnos's episode is available already for you to go and take a listen to. It will be on the exclusive side, so if you want to join, there might be a join button right there. If you want to join, you can listen to that. It is $2.99. It's $2.99 a month. so that you can have access to all those exclusive episodes. We're going to be covering the Menendez brothers, Jerry Springer, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and lots others like Yolanda, Selena, so many crazy things. So we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some tears. We're gonna have some drama. It's gonna be a wind-whirl of emotions, and I can't wait. And of course, the next exclusive episode, which is going to be the real Squid Games. Landon chose this one. He's like, we need to cover this. And I was like, hell yeah, we do. So that is the next exclusive episode, which you should see in a couple of weeks. Alrighty, back to DeeDee. Now, channeling DeeDee was not easy. It was like intense, unsettling, full of heavy emotions. For real. She laid her emotions on top of me, and I was like, okay, that's too much. Sometimes in those moments of discomfort, we uncover the most important messages, which is true. As I said earlier, DeeDee wanted to go the letter approach first. At first, we had a very hard time coming up with nice words for Ron and Christy. She expressed to me that she felt like Christy was a smug, arrogant woman. I expressed that I didn't agree. I also expressed to her that it is normal to feel that way about an ex's current partner, especially when you didn't get that closure. And it is a normal emotion to have towards somebody like that. I also let her know that Gypsy no longer has you. Mom, gone. Somebody's got to help guide her. She needs some guidance. And she does have her dad, but along with dad is Christy. And from the sounds of it, from what I feel, she's trying to help her out as much as she could and will continue to do so. Even if there's not sunshine and roses 24/7, they try their absolute hardest to do what they need to do to make sure that this family stays together. She also really wanted to get down and dirty. She also really wanted to point out that she never really understood why Ron had such a difficult time being close and connected. He was very standoffish from her, and she would fight him back on it. And she shows me that she did love him, but the love was never reciprocated. And I mean, considering Gypsy talked about they had very small sex life when they were together. So, it seems like there was just a miss from the beginning, but she feels like he never was honest with her and just kind of bounced out of there. And she also believes that this was one of the triggers, not all the triggers, that pushed her in the direction of overly obsessing about her own daughter. She used the words abandonment. She felt like she was constantly abandoned in her life. And ironically enough, Gypsy also felt that way. But it's because DeeDee put that narrative into Gypsy's mind. Apparently, she got called crazy quite often. Now, I think she got called crazy from Ron, but I'm also seeing that she got called crazy from a lot of people. So that word specifically coming out from his mouth really triggered her. She is really still stuck in that scenario. She has not crossed over. She hasn't crossed over for many different reasons. Obviously, her daughter, what happened there, but this is a big piece of it. And just so you guys know, if you're new here, when we die, we have the chance to cross over. Now, a lot of us will stick by, see our people, make sure that they're okay. Some of them may not be, will stick around a little bit more, but majority of people cross over. Some spirits have zero interest in crossing over. They know it's coming, some type of punishment. Some people just don't want to cross over. Some have unfinished business, like DeeDee. There's a big mess of different reasons. But when people do cross over, yes, I can still connect with them. But they're not as easy to connect to. They also cannot take over my body as a vessel. It is only those spirits that have not crossed over that can do that. They're on a different plane. So they're closer to us, which is why we feel them a lot stronger. And they communicate differently. I find that they are more verbal. The people in heaven, the people up there are more imagery and usually very, very, very positive, happy energies. When people talk about dead people, like there's no big emotions, like they have emotions, happiness, and they look over us and they watch over us. There's a lot of happy emotions. They're not stuck in the drama. They watch over us and protect us. That's about it. When they're still here, there's a lot of drama, trust me. She also admitted to me that she's afraid of what punishment is to come. Now, she doesn't know if she's going to get punished or not because she hasn't even tried to go up there. But when she does decide to cross over, they will kind of re-examine her life and be like, should you be punished? Should you not be punished? Did you suffer enough? Like they're going to figure it out. But she's afraid, get this, that they're going to go the medical punishment, kind of like what Gypsy dealt with. So that is something that scares her. And she's not good with the medical stuff for herself, ironically enough. I do believe that she is remorseful for her abuse with Gypsy. That I do see. She also likes being really close to Gypsy, especially now. Now that she's out of jail, she just feels like she has to be attached to her. So now is definitely a time she's not going. She also didn't mention any of Gypsy's men in this letter. Ironically enough, she really likes Ryan. She thinks that although he's old school traditional, she saw that regardless of what happened in Gypsy's life, that Ryan would never leave her. Regardless of how crazy she got, he would always be there. So she is a big Ryan fan. And she wants Gypsy to be with him more than any other guy. And I'm just like, I don't agree with you there. To each his own. She is also aware that people do joke about the fact that Ryan and her look a lot alike. And she kind of smiled a bit. And she believes, or at least that's what she's telling me, that there is some sort of lineage there back in the day. They're obviously not closely related, but she's telling me there is a cross between the families. Oh boy. I also believe that Gypsy made that statement to him as well about what people were saying online about him. The only thing that she does not like about Ryan is his food mess. She thinks he's very sloppy, and she does not like that. So that's the one thing that she thinks Ryan needs to change and work on. And that's what she thinks would bring Gypsy back. So if Ryan's ever listening here, there's some advice from the mama. If you guys have any questions for Gypsy's mom, DeeDee, after this episode airs, you're welcome to drop them in the comments. And if I'm ever up to it or we got enough questions, we can do this for round 2. I've had my fair share of evil spirits, so I was prepared for some real fighting, Simon Monjack, but that's a story for another day in case you guys don't know it. But don't worry, we'll experience that situation again one day soon. It is time for the letter. Dearest love of my life, Gypsy. From the moment I laid my eyes on you, I knew you were destined for greatness. There was a light in your eye, a brilliance that outshone the stars. I saw it then. I saw it, even then, in your tiny gaze fixed on me. When you were born, you didn't just look. You truly saw me. I could hardly believe it as your eyes followed me. So aware, so present. I knew in my heart you were exceptionally smart, even as a newborn. I remember telling your daddy how much you looked like me. Your hair was unlike anything I had ever seen. It was so soft and beautiful. I was worried it would turn into my hair. I was in awe of my little girl. And now look at you. Your hair, your smile. Everything about you is perfect. Mama is so proud of you, my sweet sugar. I swore to protect you with everything I had, pouring all of the love I have ever felt into you and only you. I believed with all of my heart that we were destined to be together forever. I often imagined our lives intertwined, picturing us as best friends. My purpose, my destiny was clear. to keep you safe. I trusted my instincts because, as they say, mother knows best. There's no stronger bond than between a mama and her baby. I could sense something was wrong with you, even before you showed any signs. I knew when you were coming down with anything, a cold, a chest infection, or even when you had an earache. Your little world seemed to be so full of dangers, and I vowed to protect and shield you from every single one of them. Nothing was more important than ensuring my baby was safe and cared for. When you were very young, before the accident, I took you to the doctor constantly, only to be told that I was overreacting, that you were fine. But deep down in my core, it felt like something wasn't right. The first ear infection confirmed it for me. Now in the afterlife, I've come to understand that my mind was playing tricks on me. It convinced me that you weren't well and that I was the only one that could protect you or properly take care of you. That belief shaped everything else I did for you, everything I felt. It became clear to me that I was the only one who saw what I believed to be true. After each and every single doctor visit, I began to self-diagnose you. Every time a doctor told me that you were perfectly healthy, I invented more symptoms. Eventually, one of them started to believe me. I forged doctor's notes, referrals, pretending to be a nurse or administration when making calls on your behalf. I broke the law and made false claims, all because I was convinced something was wrong with you. In a twisted way, I wanted you to have cancer or a serious illness so I could stop the hunt. I craved the sympathy and attention that I would receive from this kind of situation. I wanted people to pity us, to see me as this devout and incredible mother. When they called me a saint, I reveled in it. I was finally being seen as somebody good. In my mind, I couldn't stop it. I was out of control. I felt compelled to prove every single person that you were different, that you needed extra care and extra attention. It became an addiction and also a need to validate my role as your protector. I never saw my actions as abusive. I believed I was helping you, pushing forward a diagnosis that, in my mind, was real. To me, I was doing what any mother would do in my situation: care for her child, even if it was all based on lies. There will never be enough words to fully express the apology you deserve. Gypsy Rose, no explanation could ever make up for the pain I caused you. I realize now, more than ever before, that my actions were far from ideal. And if I'm being completely open, I knew that deep down inside, even a few years after your accident. In my mind, I told myself it was temporary, pretend, until they found out exactly what was wrong with you. But as time progressed, it became harder to maintain that image, that facade. It also became hard for me to recognize who I was. I lost my sense of self, giving up my entire life to pursue something that didn't even exist. In doing so, I made you a prisoner in our home, a place that should have been your safe haven. I don't know why I was so afraid to let others in. I guess I feared that if they did, they would see through me and take you away from me. I was terrified of you finding friends, or your father reclaiming you, or you growing up. I let my fears control my actions. I realized that you were never the problem, Gypsy. It was me. I want you to know that everything I did, every mental struggle, was my own burden. It was never your fault. I should have educated you, given you freedom, allowed you to live your life. Instead, I emotionally, physically, and medically harmed you. I deprived you of a life that you were really meant to have. And I live with that regret every day. I know I ruined your destiny, and the weight of that haunts me constantly. Please don't feel burdened by this truth. It's something I must carry alone. Understand that everything that happened was an act of self-defense, and I don't blame you for any of it, and I never have. When things began to unfold with Nick, I remember seeing a shadowy figure standing over my bed watching me. Many nights I saw shadows, but normally they were from you. At first, I didn't think to react, thinking it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But then I heard a sound, a low snorting noise. I couldn't ignore it anymore. When I looked up and saw him, I instantly recognized him in that moment from the movie theater. In that moment, a million thoughts were running through my mind. I didn't realize that he had been sent by you. All I saw in his eyes was pure and utter evil. I had never seen anything like it, and I had never been more scared. I was scared that he was going to hurt you next. Every time he stabbed me, he had pure enjoyment in his face. He was also running his hands on my body in some very unwanted places, and in the most unusual way. But ultimately, it was my demise. And I know that you never wanted to torture me like that. I know in your mind that you have regrets, and still have regrets about it. And I'm sorry it came to this. I'm sorry it came to a point where you had to question killing me. I don't blame you regardless of what anyone else thinks. Surprisingly enough, I am happy that you were able to reconnect with your father and Christy. I roll with that one. I never saw it before, but I see it now. Christy and I have some similarities. We both want what's best for our children. We both carry a responsibility for our household, and we both want to protect our children. I'm glad she's there to protect you. I wish I had made better choices. Perhaps we would be in different places together. Watching you this past month, especially with your daughter Aurora, my granddaughter, brings back that deep urge to protect you both. I know you will not repeat my mistakes. I trust that you'll understand that your daughter needs that freedom too, and will have that opportunity. As I watch you, and the both of you, you and your dad, I see it. I see the two of you and your similarities, always flowing with life, trying to look at the positive side of things no matter what the situation is. Even when my demons were unreasonable, you were still kind to me. I robbed you of so much, and I hope you find genuine happiness. I still see you coping, learning, and growing, and all of your success, baby. All these beautiful moments you're creating. You didn't need to get the nose done, though. I know you want me with you, and I am with you every single day. I wish the world would stop punishing you for my failures. My life shouldn't have been spared, even in the brutal way Nick ended it. I feel and felt like I deserved it. My fears clouded my judgment, and I failed you. I'm sorry, Gypsy. Beyond what words can express, you deserve so much more. It breaks my heart that the world sees you as a monster. I caused this for us. Had I made better choices, I could be there with you right now, holding my grandbaby, with you by your side. She's perfect, by the way, not just beautiful, but aware. She sees me, and she knows who I am already. Thank you for sharing me with her. I never expected that. Her name is beautiful, and so are my two beautiful girls. With love forever and always, Mama/Mima. And that is the letter that she prepared for Gypsy and Aurora, which I thought was nice. Seems like she's taken a lot of accountability. She had a hard time mentioning Christy, but then really came to realize, like, you know what? She needs somebody. She really likes her sister Mia, though. Really, really likes her. Now, I hope that Gypsy gets the opportunity to take a watch or a listen, but I'm also realistic. I understand where she's coming from. I wouldn't trust a single soul out there. But that is it for today's episode with DeeDee. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will be back in a few days. Until next time, guys, stay freaked out.